Graph. I need to be able to graph the following function. We have a rational expression where we have a one term over two terms, a monomial over a binomial, or a polynomial over a polynomial. Now, one of the things that you want to make sure is that you simplify if possible. Notice that there's nothing to factor on the 3x, and on the denominator I can factor out a 2. So we have 3x over 1 factor out a 2, and what's left behind? We have a x plus 2. If you notice, nothing canceled, so therefore I can just go back to my original problem, or you can graph this one, it's up to you. Now, our theorem tells me that our horizontal asymptote is determined by your leading coefficients. If they have the same exponent, in this case they have an exponent of 1 and an exponent of 1, then your horizontal asymptote y is equal to, is going to be determined by your coefficients, 3 over 2, which is 1.5. 1.5, and we have our horizontal asymptote. Our vertical asymptote is going to be determined by your denominator. Your denominator cannot be 0. So therefore, what values for x will make this 0? You can either go back to this, which you'll find x cannot be equal to -2, or you can place your denominator 2x plus 4 equal to 0. Move the 4 to the right, becomes a negative. X equal to -2. And that'll be your vertical asymptote, because if x is equal to -2, your denominator becomes 0, and there's it will be undefined at -2. Let me write down my equations for my asymptotes. This asymptote will be x equal to -2. This will be y equal to 1.5. And I'm just going to make a table. I'm going to make a table of values, because I want to be able to find out where the graph is on the right hand side and on the left hand side. So therefore, this is -2. I'm going to plug in a -1. This will be 3 times -1. It will be -3 over. Plug in a -1. This will be -2 plus 4 will be 2. So therefore it will be -1.5. I'm going to plug in a 0. If I plug in a 0, it gives me 0. Denominator will be 0 plus 4 will be 4, which is just 0. And I'm going to plug in a 1. This will give me 3. Plug in a 1 gives me 6, which is 1/2. And at this point, you can see that your graph will be on this side, and it will follow your asymptotes throughout, getting closer and closer to your asymptotes, but never crossing it. And now I'm plugging in a -3. Now remember, you can use the calculator if you want. You can use the table option on your calculator as well. But the numbers in this case are pretty small. And I did not bring a calculator home, so I'll just be doing it by hand. I'll be -9 over -3, that gives me -6, plus 4 will be -2. So therefore it will be positive 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So notice that on this side it will be, on the left will be on this side of the graph. I'm going to plug in a -4. That'll be -12 over, that's -8 plus 4 will be -4, which will be 3. So therefore my graph will be on this side of the function. Don't forget to write down your asymptotes, and that's my graph.